The new head of the Illinois Farm Bureau says a legal dispute drove his decision to unseat his predecessor. That's one of the things you need to know to start your day. For Tuesday, December 16th, I'm Ryan Denham, and this is WGLT's The Leadoff. Now let's lead off with that shakeup at the Illinois Farm Bureau. The advocacy organization recently replaced its leader, in part over a membership dispute. Here's WGLT student reporter Ben Howell.
Philip Nelson says the Farm Bureau's dispute with the American Farm Bureau Federation is one of the factors that led to his election as Illinois Farm Bureau president. He had served in the role previously. Delegates elected him last week, unseating Brian Duncan. Duncan had a single term. The dispute with the Federation stems from Country Financial's decision to end its Farm Bureau membership requirement for non-farm policyholders. That could reduce dues owed to the national group. Nelson says he wants to resolve the case, but declines to offer specifics.
I think I need to hear their side of it first. I think the first step is sitting down across the table and talking and seeing where we're at, and then we'll go from there.
The Federation had threatened to expel the Illinois Farm Bureau. The state group then filed suit over the matter. Country Financial is waiting to see how the Farm Bureau will respond. Executive Vice President Rob McDade says dropping the Farm Bureau requirement was necessary to bring down costs for customers in a competitive insurance environment and to stay contemporary in a digital age.
When a decision's made, we come together, and then we work together going forward. So I think under the leadership of our board going forward, I think we'll continue to make decisions that are in the best interest of our clients together.
The Illinois Farm Bureau owns the insurance company. With reporting from Charlie Schlenker and Eric Stock, I'm Ben Howell.
Here's some other stories we're following in the WGLT newsroom. The city of Bloomington is considering a downtown trolley service to help offset the parking shortage caused by the closure of the Market Street parking deck. Mayor Dan Brady says he envisions a downtown loop during Bison games and other downtown events. The town of Normal says it's received a grant totaling more than $2 million to replace the culvert over Sugar Creek on Vernon Avenue. That money comes from the Illinois Department of Transportation's Special Bridge Program. There's no timeline yet for when that work will begin. Illinois lawmakers vowed to keep fighting for protections against artificial intelligence after President Donald Trump signed an executive order to shield tech companies from state laws. Trump's order targets state regulations, including several in Illinois, that he said are inconsistent with national policy on AI. Critics say Illinois will not be swayed by the influence of big tech. And Governor J.B. Pritzker describes Rob and Michelle Reiner as terrific people who care deeply about others. The Illinois Democrat says he and First Lady M.K. Pritzker were with the Reiners just a few days ago. The Reiners were found stabbed to death in their Los Angeles home on Sunday. You can find more on these stories at WGLT.org. Illinois State University basketball legend Doug Collins will now forever be linked to a part of campus that helped transform him into an All-American and ultimately a Basketball Hall of Famer. Here's WGLT's Eric Stock.
It's been over 50 years since Doug Collins spent his days practicing in the North Gym at Horton Fieldhouse, but one memory in particular became a life lesson for him. Collins recalls Coach Will Robinson's daily ritual of ordering his players to run laps around the court. One day, Robinson didn't watch the players run laps, but appeared later and asked how many didn't run around each of the chairs positioned on the four corners of the court. Collins remembered Coach Robinson's message that day was about shortcuts in life.
We're going to get beat in the most difficult times because we cut corners. So I just want you to remember there's no shortcuts in life. And that has stood with me forever.
And that gym will now be forever linked to Collins. ISU has announced it's been renamed the Doug and Kathy Collins Gymnasium. ISU's Athletic Leadership Office in Sefke Arena will also be renamed the Doug and Kathy Collins Athletics Leadership Suite in honor of the legendary player, coach, and broadcaster and his wife, whom Collins met at ISU 53 years ago. Doug Collins says the North Gym, the only place where the Redbirds practiced at the time, was a sanctuary for him.
It's where so much of my dream came true, but it's where I could go and I could always find a peaceful place, regardless what was going on in my life.
ISU Athletics says the name changes come in conjunction with an investment in the Redbird men's basketball program. ISU Athletics did not disclose the investment. For his part, Collins tried to separate the financial giving from the naming dedications.
This was something that they came to us and asked us about it. And I told Paul and Jerry, we just want to make sure that, it's not like we're paying to get things named after us.
Collins says he still makes regular visits to the North Gym to watch the men's basketball practice and to build and maintain relationships with the student athletes. It's in part to make sure they always remain Redbirds.
And now you get so nervous, is that guy even going to be on our team next year? Is somebody going to come in? Are they going to try to take him through the portal and give him through extra money and everything? So that's where I think relationships really matter.
Collins says he believes the college athletics model was broken and that players should not be allowed more than one transfer without being required to sit out a year. He says it's been bad for college athletics, especially for mid-major programs like ISU.
Sometimes when someone like my age speaks, it's like I'm this crabby, crotchety old guy, old school, not keeping up with things. I don't want to come across like that at all. I just don't like the prevailing model. I think we rushed into it without any guardrails. And once you get something in, it's hard to change it.
And Collins says he understands student athletes' desires to switch schools after watching their coaches change jobs, often with few consequences. And the naming of the North Gym at ISU and the Athletics Leadership Office are just the latest honors for the most decorated athlete in ISU history. Collins accepts it all with humility.
I always worry about fatigue. Like, I don't want there to be Doug Collins, Kathy Collins fatigue. I want it to be that, people don't get tired of hearing our names.
Collins says every time he and his wife Kathy come back to campus, it feels like home. I'm Eric Starr.
Before we let you go, the Heartland Community College Board of Trustees meets tonight at 6:15 in the Community Commons building. On the agenda is a property tax levy and renovation plans for the Challenger Learning Center. And that is it for today. I'm Ryan Denham, and the show is produced by Lou Warner. You can subscribe to the Leadoff on the NPR app or wherever you get your podcasts.